Today's daf is daf mem tes. We are going to begin on daf mem tes amid base. We started off the Mishnah on Izakin Shaman Labidis that when Beis Din has to appraise the payment for the injured party, we evaluate it from the idis. So the Gemara and with Tikkan Olam, the Gemara asks Tikkan Olam. The Gemara says the Chayr is der Daisa, Meitav Sedeh, Meitav Karmi Yishalim. So Abaya said, only for Rabbi Shmuel says Midir Daisa, Meitav Sedeh, Meitav Karmi Yishalim is Midir Nesek. So therefore, Kamash Malon, Tikkan Olam, we appraise the property from the one who caused the damage, the mazik. So now the Gemara asks, "My Rabbi Shmuel, what is Rabbi Shmuel?" The Tanya we learned that a brayso Meitav Sadeh Meitav Karmi Yishalim. The Torah says of the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard shall he pay, which teaches us that Meitav Sadeh shall nizek or Meitav Karmi shall nizek. That min haTorah we appraise it from the best quality of the field of the nizek of the injured party, and the best quality of the vineyard of the injured party. David Rabbi Shmuel, this is what Rabbi Shmuel says. Rabbi Kiva says no. The Torah does not come to the pasuk when it comes to allow injured parties to collect compensation from the Indius land belonging to the one who caused the damage. And the Kalvachem of the Hektish, which the Gemara will explain what that means. Okay, so now the Gemara says, according to Rabbi Shmuel, according to Rabbi Shmuel, who said that means that we evaluate from the Nizek. So now the question is, Ochal Shmeina. If one's animal ate from a rich garden, so Mashal Shmeina. So we understand that he has to pay the value of the rich garden that he ate. But if, let's say, the animal ate from a poor garden, it doesn't make sense that he pays the value of the rich. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm really off of my skin. What are we talking about? Here we're talking about where the animal that caused the damage ate from one garden amongst other gardens, like one patch of garden amongst this garden, and there's patches, some good patches, some not good patches. So he ate aruga ben arugas, and we don't know whether he ate from poor one or from rich one. So in such a case, the masham le'mimeta, in such a case, the owner's animal pays the nizek, the value of the best quality of the property. Amar Rabba says either didn't the kusha or mashal kushta. Now, if we know that the animal ate the kusha, so the owner has to pay kusha. Hash the le'adinan. But now you're saying that you don't know mashal shmeni has to pay. Shmeni l'chayda meitzim chavel avarai. Amar Racha Barak. He says rather, what are we talking about over here? Here we're talking about a case that after appraising the damage, the Beis Din comes to collect from the one who caused the damage, but he does not have money available to pay the damage that he caused. So now, what's the machlekes? The machlekes is where the idius of the nizek, of the injured person, was equal in quality to the ziburis of the mazik. In other words, the mazik was a rich guy, the nizek was a poor guy. So the nizek's idius is like the same value as the ziboris of the mazik. So how do we assess it? Rishmal says that we look at the nizek. He was sober that the mazik shemina, we look at the damaged guy, and even if he's wealthy, he has to pay from his idius. So the Gemara my time, what's the reason of Mishmol? Nemer so the lamata. It says field below, and the Nemer so the lamayla, and it says also the word sada. At the beginning of the pasuk, just like over there, when you see sada, it's referring to the actual nizak. Sada where the mata is a nizak, the first of nizak. Shmor, Kiva Savar, Meitav Sadeh Yishalem. Kiva holds of the best of his fields, he shall pay. It means means that the best of the one who is paying, the best fields belong to the one who caused the damage, the mazik. The Gemara says Rabbi Shmuel, and how did Rabbi Shmuel learn? He says, I have Gzir Shav and I have a Kra. I have the Gzir, like we just said before, teaches us that he pays for the best of the field, means for the land equal in quality to the best of the field owned by the Nizik. And we see, Hani Kra, he said, Buris Tidir, Le Shavik, Hidis the Nizik. Sorry, Hani Kra, Shavik, Hani Kra, the Eastley, the Mazik, is Buris. And he says, and I have the pasuk, which teaches us that if the one who caused the damage has Inius and Ziborius, and his Ziborius is not as good as the Inius belonging to the injured party, so the one who caused the damage pays the Nizak from the Inius. The pasuk only comes to teach me that to allow the nizak to collect from idius belonging to the one who caused the damage. Now, what does it mean? It says, if you're going to say that our ox, in other words, an ox belonging to Yid, an ox that belongs to the base of Migdash, so this is difficult. Teda says we're talking about his ox, not the share of Hektish. Rather, what the Kal V'Chemer is not referring to a case of damage, rather to one who says, it's upon me to donate 100 dinners to the Bedek HaMaish Bayis, and it teaches us that one who took the vow has no money, so then the Gizber can come and collect from the actual Edis. The Gemara says, 1 second, the Gizber should not be treated any better than a regular B'Chlev, and we know the B'Chlev only collects from Benis. And if you're going to say that Rabbi Kiva holds that even a B'Chlev can collect the money owed him from Idius like payment of damages, so the question is, he can still ask, you could say that if a regular B'Chlev can collect the money owed to him from Idius, this is because the Torah enhanced his power with regard to payment for damages. But can you say the same about a Gizbar with regard to the Torah weaken his power with regard to payment for damages, not allowing to collect such compensation? So the Mar says, actually we can explain that we're dealing with a case when our ox gored an ox of hektish. And Rabbi Kiva holds Shimon Menashe. The time of Shimon Menashe, Imer Shirshal Hektish should have been Shirshal Hedit. If you have a share of Hektish which gored a Shirshal Hedit, Potter is Potter Shal Hedit. You know, Shirshal Hektish opposite. Whether it's a Tamimud, he has to pay a full amount. Gemara says, if so, it might be this and this is the Mazik Pligi. From where do you know? From where do you know to say that Rabbi Kiva and Rabbi Shmuel disagree about a case where the Idi's land belonging to the Nizik is equal to the quality of the Saboris land belonging to the one who caused the damage? Maybe you could say that everybody holds that we evaluate the Nizik. And here they're arguing in the Machlik this between Shimon and Nasi and Rabbanon. The Rabbi Kiva, so the Rabbi Shimon and Nasi, Rabbi Kiva is going to hold the Rabbi Shimon and Nasi, and in the case of the damage caused by the ox of a Hedyot to Hektish, so the compensation is collected from the Idius belonging to the one who caused the damage. We should also look at Rabbanon and Rabbi Shmuel, and according to the opinion of the Rabbanon, that the owner of the ox has no responsibility. So the one says, "Imkain my leiba kosav." What is the saying leiba kosav? My kalvachim hektish. Another question: How Amar Rashi? The Rashi says that tiny by the meter sedil meter kamer shalom meter sedil shanizik. It says clearly meter kamer shalom nizik. The Rabbi Shmuel kiva emer meter sedil shamazik meter kamer shamazik. So this is okay. We see clearly that according to Rabbi Kiva, the compensation is collected from the Idius land belonging to the one who caused the damage. So my answer, so now Ravina says now it's a new answer. So before we were saying that the Mishnah is like Rabbi Yishmael, and now Ravina comes along and says a new answer. Ravina says, "Leila Masnisin Abakivi." Bemis our Mishnah is in Abakivi. That I said with the Mazik Shemina that Midei I saw. Who do we? That says the evaluation from the one who damaged Rav Shimon and he. And this can be according with the principle of Rabbi Yishmael. Sorry, Rabbi Shimon, the Darish time of the Kra. Rabbi Shimon always expounds the reason underlying the Psukim. In other words, Matam Komer. What is the reason for Allah Tan in the Mishnah? That Matam Hanizok and Shamala B'Idiyas, which means, what is the reason that the Bezdin appraises land of the Idiyas? This is because, in other words, for the betterment of the world, do not indicate a Medrabon. Rather, they provide a reason for the Torah. The Torah, the reason why is Matama is up in Shamlan Bidis. Why is it the Tanya? Tana Braisa, Rabbi Shimon says, when is up in Shamlan Bidis? What is the reason the Chacham said that the Bezdin appraises land of idiots for payment to injured parties? Because this is because of the robbers and due to those who take that which is not theirs by force. They shemer adam, why? So that a person will say, why should I rob and why should I take by force? Because tomorrow the Bezdin will come, take my property and take my finest field in order to compensate the victim for which I have robbed and taken by force. And the Torah says, of the best of his own field, of the best of his own vineyard, he shall pay. Therefore, they said that the Bezdin praises the idiots. Now, the Brisa is so what reason did the Chacham say that the Balchayv takes from the Benis? No. So in order that a person should not see another person's fine field or fine house and say, I will jump in, I'll lend him a bunch of money, so later I will collect the field and house from my safe if the borrower does not have enough money to repay the loan. Therefore, that's what the Chacham said, Baal Achayv Bebenis. When it comes to the Balchayv Bebenis. So another word says, if so, Yehek Visiburis. If the objective is that people should not be tempted to lend money for the purpose of acquiring the borrower's property, should he default on the loan, then the lacha should be that it should be from Ziburis. Our answer is, if so, then you will be locking the doors before borrowers. No one's going to be willing to lend them money. So now, where it says Ksubas Isha, so it comes out the payments of woman's marriage contract is from Ziburis to Rabbi Yehuda. Why did they say that the woman, when she gets her ksubah, is collected from these ziburis? More than a man wants to marry a woman wants to marry a man. So she will agree to marry even if she knows that she will not be able to collect payment of the ksubah from idiots. Another explanation, a woman is sent from her husband with her consent or without her consent. The man sends his wife out from his house only with his consent. What is the Now, in other words, what problem is there in the first explanation? The one answers like this. The alternative explanation does not explain why she collects from Ziburis. It explains it in a different manner. Since the Chamis is in order to strengthen the institution of marriage, it's possible to ask, and if you say that just as when the man divorces his wife, the Chacham instituted a marriage contract from him, so the Chayda, if so, when she leaves him, they should similarly institute a marriage contract for him from her, then come. So, yeah, this is Tashma coming here. Now, a woman is sent from her husband with her consent or without her consent, but a man sends his wife out from his wife only with his consent. In other words, even if she instigates a milchama with him, nevertheless, it's possible that it's possible to keep her waiting for a get. A man gives a get only when he wishes to do so. So in essence, the divorce is dependent on him. Mishnah says, when it comes to a woman's issues, we said that a woman collects this only when she collects payment from the orphans who were yash in the estate. But if she was divorced and she collects payment from the husband himself, she collects from the beniness. When it says that the Mishnah is referring to Yasmi from orphans, my ksuba, why specifically about a ksuba? I feel the nami from Nixisim. Not only ksuba, anytime you want to extract payment from Nisim, it's from Zipuris. Rather, it's not that the Mishnah is referring to a case for the woman that collects her ksuba from the husband himself. Or it says, no, really, it's from the same ksuba. That's telling me a ksuba. So that the you would say that the Chacham are more lenient with her for the sake of for it to be desirable. Let's just she would be more desirable partner she wants to remarry. So they allowed her to collect payment of her ksuba from Venus, even from Yisrael. So therefore, and therefore the Mishnah teaches us even payment for a woman's contract is not collected from Ziberis. Meir says clearly that Miman. Nor says from whom does she collect payment of her ksuba. Emiri asked me if you're going to say that she collects from these same, let's let a mirror all the time. Any from Nixi Sim Elam is in Ziberis. Does he not hold clearly the Mishnah that you only get from Ziberis? But rather, it's not that the woman collects from the husband of herself. So from Meir's arguing, and you must say that we're talking about these collected from the husband. It must be the Chacham are arguing and holds that it's Ziberis. Versus Layla, Miyasri, Shank Subposition, Mishram China, the same thing, Mishram China. Amar Baitash, when it's up in Sham Labidis. When it comes to this up in Sham Labidis, about Heavy Minis, Subposition is very small man. Ilim Miyasri, my Subposition, but the Kohan in Ami. El Lamine. So we see clearly that it's from. So she collects from Ziberis, contrary to what Razor said. So Maravach Bayaka, Homaskin, Shnasa, or the Niski Benay, the Balche Benay, the Superskalasi. We're dealing with a case where one becomes a guarantor for compensation of the son's damage, and similar for repayment of the son's chayv, similar for payment of the daughter-in-law's marriage contract, and the son's died. Since the guarantor stands in place of his son's, collection is made from him as if it were being made from his sons. So the wire says, "V'hai and payment is made in this case in accordance with halacha, and payment is made in this case according to halacha." Since an injured party and a creditor ordinarily collect from those who owe them money while they are alive, so the guarantor pays the debt, he too pays it as though the one who caused the damage or borrowed are still alive. He says that in the case where the father serves as a guarantor for his son's payment of the ksuba, and when is that? After the husband's death. And after the husband's death, who does she collect from? The Yisrael. So when the guarantor pays the chayv, he too pays the debt as though they were being paid from the Yisrael after the husband's death. Let him learn the halacha from another halacha that states that the guarantor of a ksuba does not become responsible for the payment of the marriage contract from his own property. Where it says we're talking about bekablan and with a kablan. This goes according to the one. This works well according to the one who says that a kablan becomes responsible for repayment of the loan even if the borrower does not have property of his own. Therefore, it works well to explain this in this manner. But according to the one who says that if the borrower has property of his own at the time of the loan, then the guarantor becomes responsible. But in such a case, the father never became responsible for his son's chayv. If you say that it's a case where the son had property of his own at the outset, afterwards it was taken away, or was since the son had his own property, the father accepted responsibility for the obligation. Now that the property has was taken away or went down in value, so the daughter-in-law can collect payment from the ksuba from the father. Or you could say that kol the gabe berei with respect to anything relating to the son. It's very common that a father pledges himself absolutely even when the son has no property of his own.